Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is David Chesney, White Rock City Councilor and editor of the White Rock Sun. You're talking to us as a city councilor today, I guess.
Sure. Anything you want, Jim. I can put on whatever hat you'd like me to wear.
Well, David, one of the things that you've been doing as a politician is you're holding community conversations. Can you tell us what a community conversation is and how it works?
Well, a community conversation was born out of the numerous times that I campaigned for election here in White Rock and met so many incredibly talented, gifted people that make White Rock their home, but they fly under the radar. They work in Vancouver, a lot of them, or elsewhere other than, there really is, unless you're working in a restaurant or a bar, there's no real work in White Rock for anyone, so other than the hospital, which is our biggest employer. But so people, they basically work outside of Vancouver, they come home, they get changed, they sit back, they look at the view, and very difficult for them to connect with the community. So the last election, in all my literature, I said if I was elected, I would host community conversations. And so this past Saturday, we had the second one, and absolutely unbelievable. I hope these things spread like wildfire through other communities. There has been some pushback from the rest of my council members. As a matter of fact, only one of the councilors here in White Rock, despite everybody knowing that it was in my campaign literature, really don't seem to want to be a part of it. The mayor and four of the other councilors have said they would not be attending, but all it was an opportunity for people I had hoped to be able to come and speak to elected officials or senior management of the city or whoever. We could have special guests where people could just, in a very relaxed atmosphere, take their jacket off, put it over the back of the chair, and kind of just spitball some ideas how we can make White Rock a better place for all of us. And the response has been absolutely amazing, both Saturdays, and even though this was a holiday weekend and weather was incredible, we still had close to 50 people turn out at the event. So I'm really buoyed. My spirits are way up. Somebody actually wrote a piece on their blog that said I never really got a chance to speak much, and you know what? I'm happy about that, because that wasn't the idea. I have the White Rock Sun as a forum for me to speak directly with the community. It's not that I don't have things to say, but I just wanted people to have the opportunity. So it's an hour and a half, first Saturday of every month, and I've already had some inquiries from some adjoining municipalities and cities wondering about it. They want to come and check it out, and it's just a much more inviting atmosphere. Anybody that's been to a city hall, I would venture in any city in the Lower Mainland, they're laid out much like a courtroom. So it's not an inviting atmosphere. Most people are very uncomfortable speaking publicly. So to be putting those two factors together really does not encourage any kind of community conversation. So I think we're onto a winner here.
Well, you said the word conversation. People just sit together, or do they take turns speaking? How does it work?
I moderate it. I host it, and we basically just let's kick it off. What's on your mind? So we've got a big issue in White Rock right now, to be very honest. We kind of blew it with making changes in our garbage system, and I think we can bring it back in and fix it. I hope we can. But so garbage has been a hot topic the first week. This second week, there's been a couple of information centers sessions hosted by the city. So as a result of that, people kind of branched out. One of the ideas that came up, and it's just a small little idea, but these are the precious ideas. And one of the people in attendance said, what could we do? Could the Business Improvement Association or White Rock Tourism, or perhaps the city, or maybe even a commercial venture on the waterfront, make up some of those cheap plastic license plate holders that say White Rock on the top, and My City by the Sea, which is how we brand our beautiful city here, and sell them for a nominal fee, and so we'd end up having, possibly thousands of rolling billboards all over Vancouver. I know there's many a times I'll be sitting in a traffic light, especially with the SUVs and that riding as high as they do, and I invariably am looking at their license plate, and so I think if we, something like that would be a tremendous idea, and this is the type of thing that is born out of the community. And there's no shortage of good ideas. And this becomes a forum. So we just sort of throw it out, and then people discuss it, and I'll go around the room, and I'll acknowledge people that have put up their hands, and they'll talk about something. Rail safety is a very big issue here in White Rock as well. They're dragging a lot of coal trains through our town now, spewing black dust all over everything. A lot of people that are asthmatic and that are having difficulty breathing. So that was one of the topics, and it's wide open. I think what will happen, though, in the future, at least what I'm planning, and I didn't start these with any concrete idea other than just let's all get together and talk. But I think in order to draw people out that normally may not come to something like a community conversation, they may look at it and go, well, why would I want to go to that? So I think in the future, I don't know whether we'll do it in May, but I think by June, we'll have, a half-hour free-for-all, and then, basically we'll have a topic of the week. We'll see how that works. So, perhaps I'd post something and promote it that this week's community conversation, in addition to, whatever's on your mind, the topic is, should White Rock build a marina? Yes or no? Should White Rock join Surrey? Yes or no? So there's no shortages of topics, and then I think people might look at the poster and go, yeah, I got something to say about a marina. I have to moor my boat either in Blaine or down in Point Roberts or halfway to Vancouver or whatever. So there's just a lot of different ideas that we could have, but the last thing I want to do is make people feel that I want them to take ownership of it. So in that sense, I've kind of stood back a little bit and just kind of keep it on the rails.
Do you know why the mayor and other city councilors do not want to take part in the community conversations?
I really don't know. The mayor, after I held my first one of the local newspapers contacted him and said that just started wondering, would you be attending any of the community conversations in the future? And the mayor said no. He said, I have no desire to go to those things. It's just a councilor trying to get his name out there, which, the community, I hope he heard the same backlash that I heard, because people were just like, how could you be so stupid? If anything, Dave Chesney's name is out in White Rock. But I really don't know. You'd have to ask them. They've all sent me personal emails objecting to the poster saying your opportunity to talk to members of council. Well, there are 2 members of council there. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to, play fast and loose with the facts. But I think they're somewhat embarrassed, but I don't know whether they're really comfortable to stand up at the front of the room and go, hit me with your best shot. What do you have to say to me? And I do it all the time. I do it on a day-to-day basis. We have some councilors that between one election and the next, nobody sees them, other than if you go to an actual council meeting, which is, the attendance of that is 4 or 5 people on average. So there's not a big turnout for our council meetings, and that's pretty much across the board in most municipalities, unless, as I say, there's a hot button issue that's on the topics. But generally speaking, people don't go to council meetings unless they have to.
Well, most council meetings are about water, sewer, and garbage collection. None of them sexy subjects, but without those things being done right, you have a very unpleasant community.
That's very true.
We'll have more with David Chesney right after this.
More and more people are looking to the internet for intelligent, riveting, and thought-provoking interviews. To advertise on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com, call 604-699-8600, 604-699-8600.
In Goddard we trust.
Welcome back. We're speaking to David Chesney, White Rock City Councilor and editor of the White Rock Sun, which you can find online. David, you said some other communities have expressed interest in holding community conversations. Who's interested?
Well, I don't want to divulge right now because they've asked to more or less kind of stay below the radar. It's individual council members, so I think what they're doing is they want to come and have a look at it and kind of spring it onto their communities. So, but they're all there's 3 or 4 of them in the Fraser Valley, and I actually had a conversation with a law firm in Vancouver, totally unrelated to something else, and they'd heard about the community conversation. They represent a lot of the communities throughout the Fraser Valley, and they're interested in coming in and have a look at it too, because they've been charged with trying to find a way for citizens and the elected officials to open a dialogue. City of White Rock is talking about reworking their website. The mayor has said that the city is going to do something like My Community Conversation, but I don't hold a lot of hope for that. I don't want to appear to be negative, but I just think it'll be far too structured, and mine has no structure. Ours has no structure.
I was going to say, too, online things tend to be pretty impersonal. That's why people are so insulting on Twitter, because if they were face-to-face with you, they wouldn't say the same kind of stuff, just like they went after one of the weather forecasters for being pregnant on Global TV.
Yeah.
And I said when Christy announced that she was pregnant again, I just said, poor woman. You know what's going to happen to her? Just like last time, she received hate mail. Oh, how can somebody who's pregnant appear on television? And I just want to know, who was it that didn't have a mother who looked like that before they were born?
You know, I agree with what you're saying, Jim. But our mothers, and you know, I'm far past the age of having any personal relationship with children or pregnant women. But our mothers, and I'm not advocating that they wear tents, but there was maternity wear. I see women, I run into women all the time in the local grocery store, and they can't get on as any more skin tight. It looks like sausage casing. Their belly button is actually pushing through the material, and I kind of look at that and I go, I get it. You're pregnant, all right? Now, why such a desire to push that out in front of everyone? And I'm again, as I say, I know that I could hear some people screaming at me right now, but I don't, and I don't watch TV. I did see a clip or two with Christy Gordon, and the way the law is nowadays, and I had it when I was working at a big corporation a number of years ago. You get 1 year maternity leave. So women want to come to work until that water breaks so that they can have 1 year off from the time the baby's born. They're not taking a month off ahead of time. They're coming to work. They're barely able to walk. They can't sit down. They're not comfortable. I don't know. It's a fine line. I had a few people, actually elderly women, contact me through the White Rock Sun before the Christy Gordon thing blew up and became public, and they were saying, my goodness, can't you do something or say something about that? And I said, no, I really don't have a desire to really, because I don't watch TV, so I can't comment on it. But as I say, your mothers and I, yes, indeed, Jim. If they hadn't carried us to maturity, we wouldn't be here. Some might say we never did reach maturity, but the fact is that the styling was much, much different through the 50s, 60s, 70s, even into the 80s. Women wore a little bit more loose-fitting clothes. But as I say, nowadays, how they can yank on those Lululemon sweatpants and body dance skins and go out in public at 8 months pregnant, I don't find it repulsive. I just really have to question, why that? Why do you want to walk around like that?
Well, I don't know. My attitude is, I wasn't put here to be your eye candy, so what does it matter what I wear?
Yeah, well, as I say, it's a touchy point, but that's just my opinion, and by golly, I'm entitled to it. I don't, as I say, I don't think they have to walk around in 50s muumuus by any stretch of the imagination. But like so many things, the pendulum swings, in my mind, too far one way or the other.
My only fashion thing that I want to talk about are the guys who wear the pants that are halfway down to their knees.
Oh, yeah. Well,
now, that to me is ugly and stupid. And try running like that. You're not going to get too far. But that's the only thing I have to say about fashion, because I don't care.
Yeah.
Wear what you want. It's the same as free speech. You can wear whatever you want. And just because I don't like it doesn't mean you can't wear it or say it.
No, I think, though, when you become a public figure, as Christy Gordon chose to do, there are maybe not a completely different set of rules, but as well as anybody from working in the media and being involved with media for as long as you have, you are put to a higher standard.
Oh, Good. Like our former journalist colleagues who are now being accused of fudging their expenses? Those people? One whose trial starts this week?
Well, I don't know that I would...
They always dressed well.
Yes, they certainly did, and their hair was
maybe
perfect.
They didn't make the best choices when it came to filling out their expense forms.
No, but that, and I think generally speaking, you'd find most people that, worked in the media. I mean, that's a conversation for another day, but, we've gone down a very slippery slope. The Liberals started it. The Conservatives, ran it home big time. There's no better way to control the media than put it in the hands of a select group of individuals that are beholding to you, and get the real big mouse and hire them. And that's exactly what happened with, I'm sure, as you're talking about, Duffy and Wallen. There's no better way to silence your critics. Give them a job.
And, of course, with Mike Duffy, he was the biggest fundraiser for the Conservatives, a very popular speaker. They sold out their $200 or $500 or $1,000 a plate dinners. I don't know. I've never been invited to one. I don't know what they cost. Yeah. And what's more, I wouldn't pay to go, and if that's just the way it is. Never have been a member of a political party. Most likely never will be.
Yeah.
Just because of that. Is you do one good thing and they expect you to do stuff that perhaps you wouldn't want to do voluntarily. Anybody approach you, David, yet?
No, not at all. I don't think, given my lone wolf style of politics, and I never ever set out to be a politician, as I think we've talked about before. My father at a young age said, Dave, if you're not prepared to put up, then please be quiet, because unless you're willing to put your sleeves up and try to affect change, your opinion really doesn't matter. And when it came to White Rock, that's why I chose to run for White Rock Council. I never had any aspirations to be a politician, and I guess, by the true definition of it, I am now one, but I certainly don't feel like one. I feel more like a man of the people.
David, do you have an email people could get a hold of you at if they're interested in holding these community conversations where they live?
Well, absolutely. My email is editor, editor, at White Rock Sun, S-U-N, whiterocksun.com.
David, thanks a lot for chatting with us, and let us know how your community conversations are going and if other people are willing to hold them. It seems like it's the modern thing to do, and I think modern in the fact that the Greeks started this, the community conversing, then voting. Mm-hmm. That's probably the best way to do it.
I think it is, Jim, and I'd be more than willing to talk to anybody and try to give them a little bit of a Coles Notes version of how this is. But I think the whole key to it is as I say, and it has to grow organically. And as I've told the people at the meetings, this was not designed as a make-work project for Dave Chesney. If you people come up with great ideas, I'd be willing to help you. But somebody in the group needs to, and that actually, out of the first meeting, came sort of a loose-knit condo owners association that have caused the big pushback against the city and what they've done with the garbage now. So something already came out of that, and there was some talk at this one about people, banding together and exchanging emails and phone numbers to try to work and try to affect change within our community. So, as I say, I'm more than willing to participate. I'm just not going to do all the heavy lifting, and so it really is important to make people feel that it's our community conversation.
And David, a follow-up as well. Any feedback from your no position on the TransLink referendum?
Oh, actually, yes. I meant to mention to you the no transit tax people were. Jordan Bateman was in touch with me after hearing my piece with you, and I had about probably 6 or 8 individuals that live here in White Rock that had heard the Goddard report, and I'm happy to say that every single one of them agrees with me 100%. I thought at least somebody would take me to task or tell me that I was crazy or whatever, but no, everybody that responded was very much, and I think that's that's what's going to happen here. I don't know whether the grassroots, $7 million advertising compared to no dollars advertising, you and I both know that's going to be a tough one, but I still get the impression from everything I hear that the straw polls are saying that the no side is leading. So I don't know exactly. I guess that's through call-out research. But I really hope that people find out that they do have the power. I know over the old HST Bill Vander Zalm campaign, I think people at the end of that went, wow, I really can make a change. And I think that's, what comes out of the community conversation, and I hope comes out of this transit referendum as well.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Thank you very much, Jim. I really appreciate it, and keep up the great work.
My guest has been David Chesney, White Rock City Councilor and editor of the White Rock Sun. You're listening to the Goddard Report on TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Find us on Twitter at TalkDigitalNet. Check out our popular YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. Comments about the show can be sent to info@howstreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.